Hey everybody, Crystal Beaudry here with Crystal's Clean Kitchen. So we are doing a special event for the month of December. We are calling it the 25 Days of Christmas. That means that from the 1st to the 25th, we will be posting every single day a Christmas-themed dessert recipe that is low-carb friendly, that is keto approved, and you guys, it is going to be so amazing. You're not going to want to miss any of the days. Now, some of these episodes I made a few years ago, and I am re-editing them and reposting them. So it goes perfectly with this series though. Seriously, 25 days of recipes. This is gonna be awesome. You're not gonna wanna miss it. Before we get into it though, would you do me a huge favor and hit that like button? Thanks so much. Hey everybody, Crystal Beaudry here with Crystal's Clean Kitchen. So the holidays are fast approaching, and what I love to do every single holiday is I like to make a box or a plate full of cookies for my neighbor, all my neighbors. And this year I'm going to be doing a box that is all keto approved or sugar-free, grain-free sort of ingredients that are healthier for you. And I'm going to kind of compile them all together at the end of our short series that we're doing. So we're going to be making like a lot of Christmas cookies and some fudge and a lot of desserts that you could compile into a tin or a box to give to your neighbors. So thank you guys so much for watching this video. This episode we are going to be making some gingerbread cookies, and they taste amazing, and you guys are going to really enjoy them. So thanks for watching. Don't forget to hit that like button, and let's check it out. Here's all of our ingredients that we're going to be starting with. So you want to take your butter and your cream cheese out of the fridge a few hours beforehand because you want them totally softened. So we're going to start with 1/4 cup of butter and 1/4 cup of some cream cheese. You also want 1/4 cup of some heavy whipping cream and 1 egg. Now, if you guys have been following my channel for a while, you know that I use Yacon syrup actually kind of a lot. And what it is basically it is a substitute for molasses, and it still tastes amazing, but the benefit of using Yacon syrup like this is that it has a lot less carbs than molasses does, and it still tastes great. So I will make sure to link that down below, but it's wonderful, and you guys are gonna love that. And it's not that expensive, so that's great. Now for our sweeteners, we are going to be mixing erythritol monk fruit and allulose together. Now the reason why I'm doing that, first of all, is it creates more of an authentic taste to mix both sweeteners together. Now if you wanted this to be super, super chewy and really, really soft, then you would do all allulose. If you want it super hard, you would do all the erythritol monk fruit. But you want 2/3 total, so we're going to be doing 1/3 of the allulose and 1/3 of the monk fruit, just because I don't want it super hard and I don't want it super soft, so right in the middle, and it's going to be perfect. For our salt, we just need 1/4 teaspoon of some salt. Now if you guys don't know what Isopure is, it is a whey protein that's unflavored, and it's really, really low carb, so it's also a great option for this recipe. We are going to be doing 2 tablespoons of unflavored protein powder, and I will make sure to link that stuff down below as well. I got it from Amazon. For our flour mixture, we're going to be doing some almond flour and some coconut flour. And again, mixing those 2 flours together is going to make this recipe wonderful. So we're doing 1 1/3 cups of some almond flour and 1/3 cup of the coconut flour. You also need some baking powder. Make sure to grab some aluminum-free baking powder because you don't need any heavy metals in your body. Okay, so for the baking powder, you just need 1 teaspoon of baking powder. Okay, so for our spices, we have 2 teaspoons of some cinnamon, 1 teaspoon of ginger, 1/2 teaspoon of nutmeg, 1/4 teaspoon of cloves, and 1/8 teaspoon of some allspice. All right, let's get cooking. Okay, so I started with our 1 1/3 cups of some almond flour. Here is the 1/3 cup of some coconut flour. And then I have the 2 tablespoons of the unflavored protein powder. All right, now we're going to be doing 1/4 teaspoon of some salt, 1 teaspoon of some baking powder, heaping teaspoon of the cinnamon, 1 teaspoon of ginger. Oh wait, I needed 2 teaspoons of cinnamon. There we go. Half a teaspoon of some nutmeg, 1/4 of a teaspoon of some cloves, 1/8 of a teaspoon of some allspice. We're gonna mix this together, set it aside, and then combine our wet ingredients. Okay, so I'm gonna start by creaming the butter and the sweetener together. That was my monk fruit. Here's my allulose. You want to cream it together. I mean, if you make cookies a lot, this is the very same step that you would do with a regular sweetener and a butter, so you want it really nice and creamed. Adding in my cream cheese now, and then doing it some more. Okay, so this has creamed up nicely. You can kind of see the texture there. Very similar to if you are making regular cookies. Okay, now I'm going to be adding in my heavy whipping cream. I'm also going to be adding in my egg, my teaspoon of some Yacon syrup. I'm not measuring it, I'm just putting in a little bit. But it's about a teaspoon. Okay, so this is how our mixture looks. It's really nice and creamy, great texture. Now we're going to be adding in our dry ingredients. Of course, even throughout this whole process, you are wanting to continually be stirring this. So here's the texture that you are looking for. It's a little sticky still, which is totally normal for this type of cookie. If you are wanting it to be darker, like a darker color, you of course could add the molasses, 1 to 2 teaspoons of molasses, or you could add more Yacon syrup. Either way, that will work. But this smells great. And we are going to be putting it in some saran wrap now, just like you would a regular gingerbread cookie, and then cooling it down completely so it will be easier to work with, and then go in the oven. So when you're laying out your saran wrap, I like to do a double layer of it just to make it a little bit wider across. We're going to put the dough in the middle of it, and I'm going to kind of push it down a little bit so that it's not in quite a ball. I always find when I'm making cookies that if I flatten it out a little bit, it's easier to work with when it's done. All right, we're gonna wrap it up here. All right, so I'm flattening it out, and then I'm gonna put it in the refrigerator for at least an hour. You could make it ahead of time though, and leave it overnight if you're wanting to make a big batch of cookies and have them all ready to go. Okay, so I have the pan with the parchment paper. I have the powdered allulose, and then I pulled this out of the freezer. I wanted it to cool down rapidly, so that's why I put it in the freezer. Now, the best way to work with this type of dough is to get your hands a little wet, because that way it won't be too sticky. Now, you're gonna just roll it into a ball. I'm gonna go a little less. And then you're gonna just toss it in the sugar. Now, I say sugar, but you know what I mean. I mean allulose. And I'm gonna continue to do all of these. Now, I just cooked the first batch, and I did not push them down at all. I kind of just left them in the ball form, which, let me show you. They are kind of puffed a little bit still. I love the cracking in them. But for this batch, I am going to just take a bottom of a cup, and I'm gonna just smash them just a little, and then they'll spread out even more when I put them in the oven. I'm gonna bake them at 350 degrees for 15 to 17 minutes. So with this recipe, I did use some allulose. Now, normally with the sweetener allulose, I don't bake it a ton, just because it tends to brown a little bit faster when you bake it. So with this recipe, what I'm going to be doing is it's a toss-up because I love the taste of it. It tastes, like I said, way more authentic to mix 2 different types of sweetener together. So what I'm gonna do so that it does not just burn, I am going to be taking a cookie sheet and putting it underneath this cookie sheet on the rack below it. And then that will cause the bottom of this to not burn. Okay, so bake it in the oven, like I said, at 350 degrees for about 15 to 17 minutes. All right, you guys, now they came out of the oven. We let them sit for probably about 20 minutes. The kids just got home from school and they're super excited to try the recipe. You ready, buddy?
I've been waiting my whole life.
Okay, his whole life. Hannah, you like it? Mm-hmm. What about you? So they're soft, they're chewy, they're a great texture. These turned out amazing and I cannot wait for you to try it. Don't forget to leave a comment once you do. Let me know what your favorite Christmas cookie is and I will try my hardest to get an episode in of that one. Thank you guys so much for watching. Also, remember, we're doing this in a series to do a Christmas box at the end. So you'll want to make sure to stay tuned for all of those. Thanks for watching. Subscribe to my channel and we'll see you next time.
Bye.